7,000 sounds like 70,000. It's a great day to be a Bulldog. Appreciate the opportunity to be here and talk about our team and our program. We've been working hard. Our kids have been working extremely hard. It's been fun being in here on a new floor. The floor's beautiful. We certainly appreciate those folks that made that happen. And Ben was a big part of that. And you know, our kids have been practicing now since October 3rd, full time. We've gone usually 5 days a week. I've tried to give them the weekends off. I think we've worked out on one Saturday, and that was the Auburn football weekend. So they've had weekends off. We've gone hard Monday through Friday, and we've got a maroon-white game tonight here in the Hump. We play UCLA on Sunday in Dallas. It's a top 5 team in a closed-door scrimmage with them. It'll be an all-day affair. We'll go 8:30 to 10:30 in the morning with half-court stuff and special situations. We'll take a break. We'll come back that afternoon and scrimmage them from 2 to 4 in a regular game. So excited about Maroon Madness on Friday night. Appreciate our marketing people, our administration putting that together. I think it's anytime you can have an event in here and have 5, 6, 7,000 people, it's great for basketball. And I expect us to do that again this year for the second time. We've tried it in some other venues, and there's nothing like being in here and celebrating really both our programs, the men and the women, and having Maroon Madness. And so I'm certainly excited about that and looking forward to Friday night. I think it's just a great experience for our kids. You know, we talk about the student athlete experience, and that's another one of those student athlete experiences in basketball that other sports don't have the opportunity to have. And when you can provide that opportunity for them, it really makes it special. And we've had last year we had a real special night in here, and I'm looking forward to this Friday as well. So with that, I'll be glad to take any questions.
Hey, Coach.
How you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Good.
You've mentioned how difficult it is to get non-conference games here inside Humphrey Coliseum. Could you go just a little more in depth as just the difficulty of trying to get a home atmosphere for your team this year?
Well, the atmosphere is not the problem. It's getting the people in here to play in front of that atmosphere. 4 years ago, everybody and their dog wanted to come in here and play. And now it's just really been a challenge. And we're going to play Texas here on November 20th on a Sunday afternoon at 5 on national TV. We're excited about that, but then we won't be back in here until the 20th again in December in another non-conference game. So we're on the road a bunch. But the flip side is this time next year, we'll have Southern Miss. We'll have UALR. We'll have Oklahoma State from the Big 12 coming back in the SEC Big 12 Challenge. So those 3 are already penciled in before we ever start on the rest of it. So that's the good piece about it. Hey, if there's ever a team that I've had, this team ought to be ready to go on the road and play some good people. And I really believe this team is excited about that. They've had their fill of 3 named directional schools and winning by 50. Okay, they won't play somebody. And quite frankly, I do too. I want to see just how they respond in those ball games early and often, because I think it'll pay off for us down the line in the SEC. Now, we got to win some of those games. You can't go over because it's not going to help you a bit with the committee if you play those people and you go over. So we've got to maneuver that schedule, handle it, and be smart with it, because we're on a plane a lot, including one up across to Hawaii. And so it's going to be a challenge. I don't think there's any doubt it's going to be a challenge for me as a coach, trying to decide how hard we can practice today, maybe take off today. But we've got depth, and I think that's an exciting piece to this team, is that we've got some depth, we've got some veteran depth, and I'm really excited about my 2 freshmen.
Coach, you talked last season about improvement for certain players in terms of percentages for shooting from the field, things like that. Specifically about Victoria and Dominique, what improvements would you like to see them make to help the team take another step this season?
Well, Dom was a 32% shooter a year ago. I'd love to see her get that to 36, 37. And then Victoria's got to get to the 40s. Somehow she was a 35% shooter last year. I got to get her in the, it'd be great to get her to about 42. That's a stretch, trust me. That's a big jump. But if I could just get her to 40, I think that would be a nice jump for both those kids. Dom needs to average, I'd love to see her get 10 points a game. And that's hard. Listen, it's hard in our league. It's hard with our non-conference schedule. It's hard for anybody to average that. But Dominique Dillingham played more minutes than any other player in the SEC last year. That's an amazing stat. Amazing stat. So, when you're on the floor, if you're going to play that long, I need her to be a little bit more productive on the offensive end. We all know what she brings to the table, but I need her to score a little bit more and do it efficiently. Not take more shots and still shoot 32%. That's not the goal. So, I think for those two, and right now I'd say those two are right now they're on path to do that. So, I'm excited about those two and what they've been doing in practice.
Specifically about Jazz with Morgan's surgery in the offseason, you've talked about how she's gotten more time leading the team. I've heard players tell me that she's more assertive, she's more vocal, she seems more confident. Can you talk about how valuable the time in the quote-unquote off-season was to her and what you see of those traits, if you see those in her?
Sure. I think obviously one of the positives of Morgan having the surgery and being out is that it really put Jazz in a position where she may have been a little uncomfortable, but that's how we grow and mature. We got to get in those uncomfortable situations, and so I think for her, she has responded in a very positive way. Morgan is back. She is back to her old self. She's fast, quick, and explosive. Jazz is fast, quick, and explosive. And so I think the verbal piece that Jazz is learning to provide, the other day in practice, I was really excited because Jazz got mad and everybody in the gym knew it. And that was exciting for me. I called her over and hugged her neck and said, hey, way to go. I was just really excited to see her show some emotion in trying to lead her team. So, again, that certainly was a positive coming out of having Morgan out for a while. But both those kids, we need them both ready to play and being, doing their job and being functional. So, and I feel real good about that right now. I'd love to leave Roe at the 2. I don't want to put her where she's got to learn the 1 and the 2, because right now the 2's enough for her. Yep.
The senior class has been a big part of what you want to do, building the foundation. What's kind of your thoughts on them and what they've been able to do in their 4 years?
And I can't believe they're seniors. It's, that was that first class with Dominique, Brianna, Katera, and Chinwei that we signed. We knew we needed to sign them before we ever played a game, because if we did and they saw us play, we might not get them. And so they believed in us. They trusted us. They believed in the vision that we talked about in the recruiting and in their home. Their parents entrusted us with their daughters, and I think we've owed up to that promise. I think we've done our part also. Those kids have developed both as student athletes as well as young women. I'm really proud of that group. Those 4 have really, they've lived up to their responsibility in my mind. I'm excited about their senior year. Again, it's hard for me to sit here and realize it's been 4 years with those kids. Dominique Dillingham, she's a story like a Dak Prescott. Very, not really highly recruited, but you just can't measure what's inside that breastplate of certain kids. And I think for her, Dak, those kinds of players, that's the intangible that you don't realize what you have until you have it. And, you know, she's the ultimate competitor. And she just, doesn't matter who I recruit, it wouldn't have mattered. She's not coming off the floor. She's going to compete, and she's going to make you play her. And that's what she's done. And Bree and Katera both have started off and on throughout their career. They're best friends competing at the same position. You talk about highly unusual, but they are. They're ultimate competitors, and yet they're best friends off the floor. And so that's a real unique situation. And then Chinwei, you guys are going to recognize her. She's really come on. Johnny's done an unbelievable job developing that kid, and you know, she's going to graduate this spring with a double major in business. Again, you talk about proud. Just really proud of her and what that kid has given up to be here. Hadn't seen her mom in 6 years, going on 6 years now. Look, I'm telling you, when I was 18, I couldn't have done it. There's no way. And I wouldn't have, period. I don't care what was the nugget at the end of the rope, I wasn't going to do it. And so that's a real mature thing for that kid, and what she's been able to accomplish and do speaks volumes about her. But she's really come on. She's you know, we're going to be really good at the 5 between her and Tiara McCowan. And we've got 2 really good pieces there, 2 aircraft carriers that are going to be able to help us a bunch and can kind of control some of that in the paint. Yes, sir.
Coach, what's Rashonda's role in the team this year? How do you see her kind of meshing with the team?
Well, she's somebody that's a veteran. She sat out last year, but she's a veteran, played 2 years in the Big 12, on the all-freshman team as a freshman, can really shoot it. You know, she's really a good shooter. She's good off the bounce. She's a good defender. And she's a ways from being that right now because we're still getting her back into shape. But every day she gets a little bit closer to that where she was about this time last year. This time last year, she's the best player on our team. Offensively, defensively, she just, and that's kind of why she's here. She loves playing up-tempo like we play. She likes playing man-to-man. She likes pressing, and she likes to run in the open floor. And so I see her really providing another scoring option on the perimeter. She's a great defender, so I don't lose anything there. And, you know, we can play her in a number of ways out there at 2 and/or opposite the 2.
Coach, you talked a lot about Dominique already, but I want to say that ask you that she's the most toughest player you've ever played. Is she one of the toughest you've ever coached?
I'd say she's one of the top 2. You know, her and Sydney Carter, probably the toughest 2 kids I've ever coached. And, you know, Dominique's going to be right there. She's going to be right there. It's probably going to be 1 and 1A with those 2. She just, you know, she's a competitor. She's going to do what it takes to win, period. Whatever that is, whatever she's doing. You know, one night she tried to will us to a win over LSU by scoring. Not something that we typically demand of her, but that night we had to have it. And that was early in her career when Savannah Carter was on the other wing. And Savannah brought some of that same toughness, but was limited scoring the ball. And so Dominique put us on her shoulders that night, made big shot after big shot after big shot. Dominique's made some really big shots for us here over the course of her career. Not afraid to take them, confident in taking them, wants to be in that position. That's what makes her the great player that she is. So, again, really blessed to have had the opportunity to coach someone like that who really emulates me and kind of plays the game the way I want it played. I was on the phone today with someone, and I said, you know, our game has evolved into all these coaches wanting freedom of movement, and you can't, you know, our fans complain when you just touch somebody, but that's where the game has moved to. But as I told them, I don't think we have 6,000 people coming in the hump every night to watch our kids score. I think they come to the hump because they appreciate how our kids play the game, how hard we play the game, how we honor the game. Hey, y'all know, it gets lighter in here when we take a charge or we get a crucial defensive stop than any basket we can make. And so I think that's that's how we built it here, and that's I'm most proud of, is that I think our kids are respected with how they play the game. And that's what makes me proud as a coach, to coach them and be their coach, because I think there's a way that you play the game. You look across the country, there's lots of great players standing around in 2-3 zones. Coaches just say, hey, I can't deal with the new rules, I'm not going to coach it. We'll just stand around 2-3 zone, I got better players, and we'll try to beat you that way. We just said, we've made up our mind, you know what, we're going to coach better, teach better, because we're going to play the game the way we want to play it, and we're still going to be able to play within the rules.
Coach, how have you seen the WNBA offenses impact the college game? Then flip side, how defensively, how will you try to counter drag screens or step up screens?
Well, I think they do let them play a little bit more at that level. And so I think in that regard, it's a little different. Offensively, you know, our game has evolved a lot like the rest of on the men's side. There's lots of screening and pick and roll and that kind of stuff. And again, you've got to contest shots. If you're trying to win the horse game, you're going to lose the horse game. I mean, everybody can make open shots, and so you've got to be able to create your own shot. You've got to be able to guard off the bounce, and those are things that I think, you know, we've always taken great pride in. Our pick and roll defense has always been solid. I think we've always tried to be better than we really are. I think we have room to grow in contesting shots, but I think that's where the game has grown, both in the WNBA and in our game, and then the rebounding piece. You know, you've got to. I loved what Candace Parker said the other night, and we believe it too. Offense sells tickets, defense wins games, rebounding wins championships, and I believe that. And we've had a real emphasis in our practices on rebounding. We stat it every day. We stat one person every day, and at the end of practice, we'll tell that one person what their percentage was of blockouts that day. And so it's become a focal point for us, and let's face it, rebounding is part of defense.
You mentioned the strides that Chinwe made. What have you seen from Tierra over the last year? I know you could see the production at times last year, but there were some inconsistencies with her being a freshman. How have you seen her kind of polish her game up over the last year going into her sophomore year?
Well, I think, again, the comfortability of playing in our system, understanding that she's got to be a good helper defensively. And I want more than just that. I want you to not only be able to alter the shot or block the shot, but I still want you to turn around and get the rebound. And so it's not just do one thing. I want you to affect the game both ways. I want you to alter that shot, block that shot, and turn around and go get the rebound off the rim. And that, teaching someone how to play that hard sometimes takes a while. And I think with T, gosh, she's got such tremendous size. She's the most flexible kid on my team. And so she's more than capable of doing those things. It's just a matter of teaching her that she has that capability. And from an offensive standpoint, I think she's great hands. If we played a horse game right now from the free throw line with her and all my 4s and 5s, she might win it. She's got a beautiful soft touch out there, and she takes pride in that. So I like where her game is now. I think right now the next step for Tierra is not necessarily the physical as much as the mental. Post players, you have to coach their minds a little bit, because look, they're down there doing all the grunt work. They're leaning on people, they're exchanging sweat, they're bumping and grinding down there. Then they finally post up, and what happens? Guard turns them down. They finally run the floor after they got the rebound and through the outlet. They run the floor, go down there, and they got somebody pinned, and the guard doesn't see them and don't throw them the ball. Well, that can get, mentally, that can be frustrating, and so you've got to coach that piece with a post player as well, that not to get down on that, and to understand that's kind of part of it. And what I want her and Chinwe to do is I want them to clean up our mess. Whether it's a defensive breakdown or an offensive miss, go clean it up. You can make a living for a long time at their position if you can go clean up that mess. And so that's what I've really been preaching to them, is that's what I want them to do. You like our wasp nest that we have in here?
Yeah, just attack.
Thank you, Coach.